Now, when talking about Mario platformers, it seems that Nintendo always ticks off the same boxes. Princess is kidnapped, there's a super mushroom within the first minute, and flipping off Goombas is always fun. But when you start really looking, you can see that Nintendo finally got on their stride. Now, Super Mario Bros., Bros 2, and Land all had their particular issues, yet now that we're finally at the trilogy's bookend, it's come full circle. The big thing that Bros 3 added was a multiplayer component, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Nowadays, the demand for everything to have multiplayer is ridiculous, and we end up with some whack-ass mode that doesn't work right, like all those MMOs that rise up from derivative Steam projects. So it shows here over 20 years ago what value there is to keeping all your ducks in a row before you add it to a series. Super Mario Bros. 3 also benefits from having the weirdest multiplayer experience from a platformer because it turns this game into a turn-based, cooperative, competitive showdown between two people to where you have to be strategic about which worlds you finish and what extras you get while taking into account your partner's position and individual skill. Switching off every win or fail adds a thick layer of tension to a game that already has harrowing platforms to deal with. While adding in toad houses and card games as rewards to be fought for, it's great that Nintendo retained the slick, satisfying platforming as part of the game in spite of having to create smaller levels in order to fill the worlds with challenge. Yeah, they're short and to the point, but that doesn't mean you get an easy ride as the levels are as expertly crafted as ever. Even when the game decided that Tanuki Feather was going to be the next big thing, which in itself is great because the series shouldn't revolve around the Fire Flower forever. And that wasn't the end of Nintendo's generosity, as the Hammer Bros suit and the Frog suit were there along with the rare statue power-up and the Goomba's boot thing. Those would have been great to see more of, but at least they existed, which is a lot to say in the face of modern gaming that makes you pay for the extras. There's a lot of reasons why Super Mario Bros. 3 is where the Mario series hit the nail on the head. The difficulty curve and the levels remain perfect, the added features were fun and kept up the pace, but one of the less obvious is that the trilogy ender doesn't take itself seriously. This isn't a game that's trying to be worthy of anything. It's not smug, pretentious, or thought-provoking with its theatrical design and having themed worlds around pipes and being tiny, and then just tossing in an angry sun just cuz. Super Mario Bros. 3 is here to have a good time. Get your best mate round and have fun being angry at each other and competing for the Toad House, and then laughing off the couch because one of you spectacularly failed the roulette minigame and then fell into the first chasm in 2-4. One of the best ways to rate how a NES game has aged is how many quick saves you take while getting a playthrough done, and Super Mario Bros. 3 had an amazingly low count. The power-ups they give you are plentiful to keep up the pace, the short levels mean that the game isn't killing you with bullshit all the time, and the player is literally guaranteed a 1-up every 3 levels. And that's what makes a game stand out over the years. The ease of getting to A to B. Sure, Battletoads stands out as well as Contra against the ravages of time, but those footnotes in history are marred by their ball-smashing difficulty. However, you can pick up a digital copy of Bros. 3 and have as much two-player glory-filled fun as you could when the game first released. And that's all that matters in the grand gaming scheme. So with that high point in the series over, we'll be moving on to the 16-bit era next week with Super Mario World. So don't hit that button just yet as I get the scoreboard all set up. Oh, and can't forget about the victory for gamers. That's definitely important. Good night, everybody.